Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to set up your new bass or trebled bass just by using a few household tools that you have in your drawer, and you can do it on your coffee table. Yeah, that's right. Today's bass is a nice Fender Precision bass, American made, and this particular one is from 2008. Now I can tell that is by the serial number. It starts with a Z, which means 0. 0 is for 2000, and the number after the Z tells you what exact year it was made in. Now, there's no visible problem to this bass. It plays lovely, it sounds great. It's just that a lot of people, when they first buy a bass guitar brand new, they never have it set up, which a lot of the times is fine, but sometimes it causes problems later in the instrument's life. Now in this particular case, this bass is just over 10 years old, and it was bought from brand new, and the neck has warped a little bit over the last 10 years. When I say warped, basically the neck gives itself a bit of a curve over the years because of the pressure that it gets from the bass strings, and they're very, very thick. Now I'm going to show you what I mean. If you look down the neck from this angle, you'll be able to see that the neck is curving outwards. Hope you can see this. Yeah, and there we go. So if you look all the way down to the end of the neck, you can see there's a big curve. Now that's not very healthy, because if you leave it like that for the next 10 years, this neck will most probably warp more and it will be irreversible. Now I'm hoping this will be reversible now, and I'll be able to fix it, and it should be fairly easy just by using these tools. So that's pretty much the introduction. Now just to explain what the curved neck does, it can cause bad fret buzz, which inevitably makes the player think that the strings are too low, and then you bring the strings up from the saddles, which makes which sort of gets rid of the buzz. But what it also does is brings the strings too high from the neck, and over the years, it will get more and more uncomfortable to play this
lovely, beautiful instrument. I love precision basses. They are, well, in my opinion, the best basses out there. Right, let's get started then.
Now, to fix this problem with the curved neck, what we'll need to do is tighten the neck by using the metal truss rod that goes in the middle of the neck. Every bass guitar and every electric guitar have a metal rod in the neck that helps manipulate the curve of the neck and make it comfortable for yourself, really. Now a lot of basses have an opening up here on the top of the neck where you'll be able to see the end of the truss rod, and you can manipulate it from there. But this particular model has the truss rod down, the opening is down here. Now that makes it that little bit more difficult to manipulate, so we'll have to do a few things before we can actually tighten the neck on this bass.
Now we're going to start with undoing the strings, loosening them up, and actually taking them out.
Now, when I say this particular bass has a problem with the curve of the neck, that doesn't mean that there should be no curve at all. It's always nice to have a bit of a curve here at the end of the neck, because it gives the fat string, the E string, a bit more space to rattle, so it doesn't buzz. Now, with this bass the curve was just too big and it causes problems. You start bringing the strings up from the saddle and that makes it more and more uncomfortable as time passes. Right, so strings are off. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to take the scratch plate off in order to be able to gain access to this bit there, so I can use one of these Allen keys to tighten the neck and move the curve down. And we have lift off. Be very careful not to pull the cables out, because if you have to do soldering, I can't help you with that. Right, now, next. Oh, look. It's got a date assembled on, inspected by a particular person whose initials are CC. That's pretty nice. As I said, this is a very nice bass guitar, American made, very good. Recommended, highly recommended. Now let's see. Let's see which one of these is the... Treble, it's a silver one. Okay, that's in. Okay, that's in now. So as long as it's in like this, make sure to turn it clockwise. That will tighten the neck up. So that's already doing work, as I can feel it. So you don't need to turn it too many times. Just, I would say, if you think on the clock, the big arrow, 15 minutes once and 15 minutes twice. So that's 30 minutes altogether. If that makes any sense, that would be great. So there you go. You might find it hard to turn, obviously because it's never been turned. There you go. Right. Yeah, I can already see it's making a slight curve in the opposite direction. The neck is already curving in the opposite direction to what we saw initially. If you can see, it looks as if it's almost straight. But if you look further down here, I'm going to focus on it now. Okay, further down there you can see there's a backward curve, which is precisely what we need. Just a little bit of a backward curve before we place the strings back on. Because as soon as you put the strings back on, that curve will change back to a forward curve. So I think for this one, we'll give it one more push. Now this, in my opinion, should do it. Now that we've tightened the neck backwards using an Allen key clockwise, clockwise is for tightening, anti-clockwise is for loosening. Right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the scratch plate back on. Make sure all the wires go into the hole, so you're not pinching anything with the actual scratch plate. Nice and easy. It's perfectly measured. It will go in place. No need to push it hard. Right? The saddles are too high, in my opinion, anyway. So what we'll do now is we're going to bring them down a little bit. Fine. So next, put the strings back on. Check it out. Okay, right, let's tune this up. Wow, I am amazed at how low the strings are at the moment. It's incredible. And there's just a little bit of an uncomfortable buzzing coming from the A string, so we might we might need to lift it up. But first, let's check the curve of the neck, see if we've done a good job with it. Right, so now we're gonna have a look if we've done a good job with the neck, if there's any difference compared to what we had when we first started this video. So I'm gonna look at the curve of the neck. There still will be a curve, but it will not be nowhere near as severe as it was to start with. Now, I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so let's just focus on this. Let's focus on it. Focus there. So there's, you can see there's a bit of a curve, but compared to what it was, nowhere nearly as bad. There you go. I think it'll focus now. There we go. That's the focus. Yeah, you stay there. Stay. That's it. So that's straightened the neck up a bit. There's not so much buzzing, but as you heard earlier, there was a bit of a buzz with the A string. So let's see if I can fix that now. So now I have managed to raise the saddle back up a little bit for the A string. And it's playing without a buzz. That's job well done as far as I'm concerned. Now let's put the screws back on and we're ready to roll. Job well done. Don't forget to subscribe. If you got any questions, ask. If not, I hope you enjoyed. Right? Next video will be setting up the intonation of probably this bass or some other bass. Right? Interesting stuff. Yeah.